Rampant inflation in 2022 produced an 8.7% cost of living adjustment for Social Security beneficiaries. But with cooling inflation, the COLA increase is much lower this year at 3.2%. That translates to a $59 monthly boost for beneficiaries. Hello and welcome to Rural America Live with AARP. I'm Christina Loren. The COLA increase takes the headline, but multiple aspects of Social Security change each year to reflect national trends in prices and wages. Now, we know that Social Security is a key component of the American retirement plan, but many don't know how to make the most of it, and failure to understand your options can be costly. Tonight, AARP brought an expert along to answer your Social Security questions directly. And our friends from AARP are here to share resources, help us through this challenging conversation, make it fun for us tonight. And we want to help you navigate the road to financial security. Our question of the month is, how does Social Security help you and your family? It's a good question. Think about that for a moment. And if you have an answer, let us know what it is. It's a new year. That means AARP has a new giveaway in 2024. We're giving away carry-all tote bags. And tonight, 5 lucky on-air callers will win. It could be you. All you have to do is call in and ask your Social Security question. Pick up the phone now. Join the conversation. We're wasting no time in taking your calls tonight. Our phone lines are open, 877-283-7570. As a friendly reminder, you don't need to be over the age of 50 or a member of AARP to win, and you can only win one time each calendar year. Now, if you are a winner, AARP will call you back in the next few days to confirm your mailing address. Be sure to return their call, or they might leave you a message. They even cover the shipping, so good luck to you tonight. And new this year, if you're not a winner, if you're not one of the callers that make it on air, you have another chance to win. You can enter AARP's Second Chance Sweepstakes at aarp.org/AARP Live. Or go ahead and grab your phone right now, take a picture, scan that QR code on your screen to enter, and that way we can give away one additional tote each month via the Second Chance Sweepstakes. We'll announce that winner during next month's program. Rules apply, and you can only win one time in a calendar year. Now we want to welcome a very familiar face to the show, Sarah Jennings, Regional Vice President for AARP. And a little bit later on tonight, Social Security expert Stephen Richardson is here. He's going to answer your questions, help us all unlock the mysteries of Social Security benefits. So give us a call, 877-283-7570. It is a chilly night out there tonight.
It is for Nashville. You guys it's like we're in South Dakota today, which is where I'm from. So.
You're used to this, though.
Yes.
I think a lot of people are probably snowed in or they're staying inside bundled up because it is cold. And so it's a great time to call in with their questions.
Absolutely. I love that connection. Yes. I would say that you in Nashville need a little bit more experience with the shovels and with the sand or the salt, because it's a mess out there.
Yeah, nobody knows what they're doing.
No, they don't. But hopefully it'll all melt by the weekend, I hope, for you all. Yeah, well, it's cold too, so people stay safe.
Yeah, stay safe. That's so important this time of year to remember to stay safe. Tonight, if you are joining us, you are going to learn a lot. Knowledge is power. Our show is loaded with useful information for you. So, Sarah, let's start with the basic question. How do Social Security payments work?
Yeah, so there's, I'm going to talk about just regular Social Security, so the retirement benefit. And that is, so there's kind of 3 things that have to happen before you can get that first check of the money that you earned because you paid into Social Security. You have to get a total of 40 credits, and you can get 4 credits a year. You have to have worked for at least 10 years paying into the system. And then you have to be at least 62 years old. So once those 3 magical things have happened, then you can start getting your first check with that payment back of all that money you put in there. Now, there's how much it's going to be, and all of that really does depend on the wages you earned and while you were putting in. And that's something that if you're interested in getting a little bit more into details, our expert in the second segment can answer all those questions. And we'll also talk a little bit later about why, you can look into what your payment might be. There's good calculators online. You can do some of that, looking into that. So there's a lot of resources we're going to talk about during this next hour as well.
Absolutely. And this is a family conversation.
Yes.
So this is something you want to bring your entire family into the fold when it comes to talking about Social Security. And if you don't know why, make sure you pay attention tonight. We will let you know. Now, with the large COLA increase last year, scammers, They're making the most of it. We know the increase is lower for 2024, 3.2%, but criminals never give up.
No.
Social Security scams are very popular. What should we all be on the lookout for?
Yeah, it's anytime there's more money going into somebody's pocket, scammers are there to try to take it from you. So the scams that you can look out for that are a little bit of some of the scams we see a lot of the times, but they're kind of with a twist because of the COLA that was just announced. First, there's spray and pray, and that's simply you have scammers out there sending a lot of emails, a lot of robocalls, a lot of texts into areas where they know a lot of seniors live. And in that, they're just trying to get you to give your personal information. So if you get one of these emails that might look really official, always have your sort of antenna up that it could be a scam and don't provide your information. The second, get asked for a fee to process your personal information. And so again, if you get asked for that, Social Security, guess what? They have your information. They don't need, and they're not going to charge you a fee to give you the payment that you earned. Third is I spoof the caller and say it's Social Security, and that's simply you look at your phone and you're like, oh, why is Social Security calling me? Well, it likely is not Social Security. So those are the three big ones we see this time of year and that we really want people to look out for.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you got to always be on your toes these days.
Yeah, you really do. They're getting smarter and smarter with AI as well. It's getting harder to stay in front of them, but AARP does such a good job of keeping us ahead of the game. And so that's something you can always check out at aarp.org/AARP Live. You're not only going to find great resources for Social Security, also what to look out for when it comes to scammers. Now, we do have callers anxious to ask questions tonight, but we do need to take a quick break. But before we get there, I think you have one more thing to share with us.
Yes, I just wanted to, so in terms of trying to avoid being a victim to these scams, we have some tips that people should always have in mind almost any time that you get one of these kind of sketchy emails or sketchy texts. But for right now, really have your antenna up. So pause and take a breath. Really try to make sure that, if somebody's trying to get you to urgently give them information or urgently send them money, usually that's going to be a scam. So take a beat and don't do it. The second is never transfer money. If you have somebody asking for you to give them money by a gift card or cryptocurrency, that again is usually a red flag that it's a scam and they're trying to steal your money. Third, be skeptical. If you're getting a request for information or money that you didn't expect, really do your investigation before you give any of that money away or your information. The fourth is don't provide personal or financial data. Again, if you got an ask for that and you weren't expecting it, it's very likely a scam and someone phishing for information. And the final tip is don't click on links. Again, if you got something that you weren't expecting and they're trying to get you to click on a link to update your bank account or update your mailing address, just don't do it if you weren't expecting that information. And if you think it might be legitimate, you can always call the person that you think sent it to you and verify that they really do need that information and then give it to them over the phone or in another way. So again, mostly just be really careful before you provide information or your financial data to anyone.
Absolutely, and they are utilizing text messaging a lot more. Okay, well, I look forward to this conversation tonight. And now it's your turn to get involved. We need to take a quick break, but stay with us. When we come back, our special guest, Stephen Richardson, is here. He's back to answer your questions about Social Security. You could be a winner tonight. Join the conversation at 877-283-7570. We'll be right back. More Rural America Live with AARP next.
Can I get both Social Security disability insurance and supplemental security income?
Yes, it is possible. The Social Security Administration operates both the SSDI and SSI programs. SSDI pays benefits to people with qualifying disabilities, regardless of their financial situation. SSI is intended to provide a safety net for people who are older, disabled, or blind and have very low incomes and limited assets. You may qualify for both of these benefits if you meet Social Security's definition of disability. Basically, that you have a medical condition serious enough to prevent you from doing most work for at least a year. But getting SSDI could reduce your monthly SSI payment.
Why is that?
Because SSI is based on financial need, your income can affect eligibility. Social Security may reduce or even eliminate your SSI payment if you get money from other sources such as work, investments, or other government benefits.
So if I get SSDI, they subtract that amount from my SSI payment?
In essence, yes. Social Security doesn't count every dollar you bring in, but it will count most or all of your SSDI benefit and reduce your SSI accordingly.
Then why would I want to get both?
For one thing, SSDI benefit amounts are based on your lifetime earnings history. If your SSDI payment is low because you didn't work much before becoming disabled, SSI can provide extra income. For another, many states automatically enroll SSI recipients in Medicaid, so there could be healthcare advantages. You can assess your options with an SSI specialist by calling the Social Security Administration's National Hotline. To learn more, go to aarp.org/Social Security.
Welcome back to Rural America Live with AARP. Social Security expert Stephen Richardson joins us now, along with Sarah Jennings, AARP Regional Vice President. Our phone lines are open, and we want to bring you into this discussion tonight. How does Social Security help you and your family? What questions do you have about Social Security? Give us a call and let us know. 877-283-7570 is the number to call. And AARP has a new giveaway for you. 5 lucky on-air callers will win a carry-all tote, and this is a really nice tote. So give us a call. You could be a winner tonight. 877-283-7570. 5 random callers will be winners. And if you're not a lucky winner tonight, you still have a second chance. You can enter AARP's Second Chance Sweepstakes, aarp.org/AARP Live. That's the website you want to visit, or you can even scan the QR code on your screen to enter. We're going to give away an additional tote. If you don't make it on air tonight, you still have a chance to win. Each month we're going to do this via the Second Chance Sweepstakes. We'll announce the winner next month. Good luck to you. Stephen, welcome back to the show. We're excited to have you back. Last time you joined us, we had a ton of questions.
Yes.
We are going to head to the phones in just a moment, but let's talk a little bit about your history. 4 decades with the Social Security Administration. Tell us about how that went for you.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lifetime career, and we know that a lot of people in professional work today, it's uncommon for somebody to work for one organization or a company for that many years. And I pinched myself every day as I worked there. I mean, it was a public service organization, so you fall back on that. And, with this underlying thought process, is, look, you're doing the right thing. You're helping as many people as you can. This is a complicated program. Let's educate people about what it's all about and feel good about it.
I can't think of one person who knows everything about Social Security. You come as close.
I think that's
as
right.
you're
Yeah,
going to get.
I don't know.
So we have the guy
Challenge
on
for the
tonight.
caller.
That's right.
Stump Steve.
That is exactly right, because this is a topic that we all have questions about. So give us a call and let us know. I will ask you, though, what are the top questions that you get about Social Security?
Yeah, these are great. It's always spousal questions, right? It's always spousal questions. When you give a retirement seminar, you lay all the rules and regulations out there, but it always comes back to the spousal benefits. That's really where the rubber meets the road with the laws in this program. Questions like, can I draw as a spouse and delay my own? Questions like, how does the spousal benefit work? How do I apply? How old do I have to be? What are the entitlement factors, and how much can I get? And of course, what if I'm divorced? If a marriage didn't work out, am I entitled to divorce spousal benefits? What are the rules? What are the regulations surrounding that provision?
Okay. And then obviously you're nodding your head because your members probably come up with a lot of similar questions.
Yes, lots of the same questions. And then, and everybody's situation's a little different. And so Steve may not be able to answer every question, but he can give you a good sense. And then we can point you in the right direction to go get, even more information if you need it. So Definitely give us a call.
Give us a call. The phone lines are open now, 877-283-7570. So the COLA increase went up just a bit compared to last time.
Yep.
What other changes are happening this year?
Yeah, with the COLA, what comes on the heels of a cost of living increase? First of all, there's not a cost of living increase every single year.
Right.
It's based on the consumer price index of durable goods and the wages of urban workers. So it's the W index, and it doesn't always calculate mathematically out to a COLA each year. However, what comes on the heels of a cost of living increase with Social Security are normally increases in the annual earnings test requirements. In other words, can I work and collect? It depends on how old you are. So the thresholds of what you can earn, it went up a couple of $1,000s from last year. It's $22,300 now. In the year you reach your full retirement age, if you want to work and collect up until the time you reach your full retirement age, the amount went up to almost $60,000 a year. And of course, once you reach your full retirement age, you don't have to report what your wages are. Social Security will pay you a check every month and you can earn whatever you want. But things like quarters of coverage, what does it cost? We spoke of quarters of coverage earlier. A price of a quarter of coverage goes up a little bit in January. The FICA tax max went up almost $8,000 this year. Wow. So you do reach a FICA tax max. It's over $168,000 now. So once you hit that point in gross wages, Social Security no longer takes FICA taxes from you. So those happen, and those come on the heels of a cost of living increase every year.
Okay. Why is it important for those who are listening, they're getting close to age 62, age 65? Why do they need to set up a Social Security account?
Well, we've always said for two reasons, really. Well, first of all, Social Security is going to represent about 41% of your pre-retirement income. So the first and foremost reason you would set up a Social Security account is education. Education. You want to review your Social Security statement, because if you're under age 60, you can get your Social Security statement on the socialsecurity.gov website. You're not going to get it in the mail via surface mail until you're age 60. So the best way to do it is to create that account. So number one, education. Number two is in a post-adjudicative environment. Once you start to draw your Social Security benefits, you're in pay. You're in pay status. You create the account for yourself. It creates a security barrier for you as the individual, because you can change your address. You can change the direct deposit in your account. You can request a replacement Medicare card, request a 1099 online once you do it. So there's two reasons: education and security.
Okay, and education also, it feels good to go on there and look at what you have earned and take a look at what you've been able to build throughout your career and have an idea of what you are entitled to when it comes to those benefits. So there's a sense of pride in visiting that website as well. We have lots of callers waiting to ask their questions or tell their story. Let's go to the phones now. First up, we're going to Iowa, where Pat joins the conversation. Thanks for joining us, Pat. Go right ahead.
Is it better to take your Social Security at age 63 or wait until age 70? And what would be the benefits for both?
Yeah, an excellent question. And let me just say one thing about questions regarding Social Security. There are no bad questions. Every question somebody asks is a good question. So this one's at the top of it. Now, the whole thing about deciding when to file it's a very personal one. It's a very personal decision, because there's so many other factors to consider, like your health, like your financial health. So these are things to look at, what your overall retirement portfolio looks like, because again, Social Security is going to represent about 41% of your pre-retirement income. That's only one pie of your retirement portfolio. So if you go at age 63, yeah, you can go as early as 62, in fact, but you're electing a reduced Social Security benefit. If you wait until your full retirement age, which is based on your year of birth, you'll be eligible to draw a full unreduced Social Security benefit. But the third option, it's pointed out in your Social Security statement, is a pivotal one, because essentially it does tell you what your maximum Social Security benefit is, and that is if you wait till 70. Because for every year you delay beyond your full retirement age, up to age 70, your benefit increases about 8% per year. So there's a lot of factors to consider, and it's not just, should I wait? So look at your overall retirement portfolio and your health and things like that when you're landing on this decision. There is no one magic answer. There's no magic bullet. And the when to file the answer is always going to be different from person to person. Good luck.
Yeah, and if I could just add, AARP.org/Social Security is where our Social Security Resource Center is. And there we have a calculator that you can actually put in some of these numbers and some of these dates and get some information about the ramifications if you decide to claim right away, or if you're going to wait a little bit. So I would really encourage you to go check that calculator out, and that will help you make some of these decisions.
Okay, thank you so much for that call. We appreciate you, Pat. Next up, we're going to Arkansas, where Nelson joins us. Thanks for joining us, Nelson. Go right ahead. Nelson, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. If I'm supposed to be 62, I need to, I've been working till now, but do I need to wait until I'm 65 to draw it, or do they take, how much money do you lose from 62 to 65?
Yeah.
Do you wait till you're old enough to call it?
Yeah, really good question. If you're still working, then you're going to be subjected to Social Security's annual earnings test laws, which tell you how much you can earn if you want to file and collect. So that's one issue to look into. Can you collect while you're still working? If you do go at 62 or 3 or 4 up to age 65, I already spoke earlier that your Social Security benefit from your full retirement age up to age 70, you get these delayed retirement credits that your benefit can increase about 8% a year. It's a little less than that from 62 to 3. It's a little less than that from 63 to 64, 64 to 65. It's between 6 and 7%. So you have to understand those reductions a little bit. But the basic premise here is, number one, they're not going to come find you to collect. This is something you have to do yourself, and you can do it online at socialsecurity.gov. I'll call their 800 number and make an appointment with your local Social Security office. But you really got to do your homework, and you want to look at your Social Security statement. And just to close out, similar to the AARP calculator, the socialsecurity.gov website has an estimator as well that'll tell you how much you're going to get per month. Good luck.
All right, thank you so much for that call, Nelson. Mark is up next, joining us from Nevada, and our first winner. Congratulations, Mark. Woo! Go right ahead. Mark, can you hear me? Okay, I think we may have lost Mark. We're going to continue on with our conversation then. I will ask you, do most people choose to elect to take their benefits? Do they elect to take their benefits at 62 or 65, 66? What is the most common age?
It's an often asked question. About 72% of Americans, between 72 and 74% per year, draw benefits at a reduced rate. Now, they define a reduced rate between 62 up till the month before your full retirement age. Anytime you would have drawn a benefit by that time, it would be considered a reduced benefit. I think about 41% draw at 62 every year. So they've done their homework. I mean, we hope they've done their homework.
We hope.
Yeah.
We hope. It's hard. That's why you're here.
I mean, I think it's like being oversimplistic. The longer you wait, the larger your paycheck is going to be from Social Security. But there are some situations where you just can't wait. You need the money now, and that's where every individual and family just needs to make that decision.
Yeah, the loss of a job.
Yes.
It could be a medical situation.
If you've been doing a really hard physical job, maybe you just can't do it anymore. And in those situations, it might make sense to go ahead and start claiming it right away.
We're getting a lot of great calls tonight. That leaves a line open for you. The number is 877-283-7570. We're going to Connecticut, where Frank joins us now. Thanks for joining us, Frank. You, sir, are our winner. Go right ahead. Congratulations.
Hi. Hello?
Hey, go right ahead with your question.
Yeah. I currently work, and I have health insurance at work. And I want to continue to work past 65 and use that health insurance. What I'd like to also do is continue to contribute to my HSA account. I don't know the steps that I need to do with Medicare, if any. Do I need to apply for Medicare? Do I wait? Maybe you could help me out with that.
Yeah, it's an excellent question. It really is. I mean, these health savings accounts, they're great. But there are IRS rules, regarding taxation. So you really got to know your HSA rules and regulations, and I'll round back to them after I answer the question. Here's the thing about Medicare and enrolling in Medicare, and you make a really good point about calling with a Social Security person or a Social Security background person to this excellent TV show tonight, because you have to go to Social Security to enroll in Medicare, Part A and Part B. The core parts of Medicare, you have to enroll at the Social Security Administration to do it. So you're calling the right line to get the answer. Here's the thing about delaying your Medicare entitlement or delaying enrolling in Medicare from age 65 on. We all know that Medicare eligibility begins at age 65. Social Security rules say as long as you are still working and are actively employed and covered by your employer group health plan of the place you're working, you can delay enrolling in Medicare and then file later in life when you decide no longer to work. It's either if you're covered yourself from the company, or you could be covered under your spouse's employer group health plan based on your spouse's active employment, and you could also delay enrolling in Medicare at that time. It's the whole thing about why would I pay a Medicare premium if I have health insurance coverage from the place where I'm working? And you're right, that's exactly right. So in terms of what you're going to be doing going forward, is you'll have to decide. Now we're going to come back to the HSA rules. So HSA is a little dicey when it comes into Social Security, because Because Social Security, once you put pen to paper to enroll in Medicare, if you're over age 65, Social Security will always go back 6 months retroactively and give you Part A of Medicare coverage. This is where the twist with the HSA account comes into play. So the best thing for you to do would be to contact your HR department at work and ask them what the HSA rules are, what the health savings account rules are there. They've always advised, and the Social Security website says the very same thing, that you should be talking to your HSA people. But I will close out with this. Know that Social Security goes back 6 months retroactivity. So if you were to file 6 months after your 65th birthday, they'll give you Medicare entitlement back to your 65th birthday. If your HSA is active during that time, you could face some tax penalties. I hope that's helpful, and that's a very good question.
People love that word, retroactive.
Yeah.
We would love to hear from you. What questions do you have about Social Security? I'm sure you have at least one. 877-283-7570. It is very rare to have an expert answer your questions directly. You want to take advantage of this opportunity, like Robert of Oklahoma is doing tonight. Thanks for joining us, Robert. Go right ahead.
Hello.
Hey there.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
My question is, can my wife draw on my Social Security while I'm alive?
A very good question, and that's where spousal benefits and the spousal rules come into play. So let's talk about the entitlement, what it takes. What are the entitlement factors for your wife to even be eligible to draw into your account? Number one, you have to file. You have to file. You must file for your own benefit before your spouse can file for Social Security spousal benefits. Now, Social Security will pay up to half of your primary insurance amount to your spouse, depending on your spouse's age, of course. What's your primary insurance amount? That's the amount of benefits Social Security would pay you if you waited till your full retirement age to draw. So your spouse is technically eligible for half of that amount, unless your spouse's own benefit is more. So those are the two factors. Number one, you must file. So you have to be over age 62, and your spouse has to be over age 62. If your spouse is working, your spouse will be subjected to the annual earnings test rules that we described earlier in the show. So you ask a very good question, and you should be contacting Social Security, and you should be getting on their website and going to the AARP website and screening yourself for eligibility and go through these rules. So that's a really good question. I hope that was helpful.
All right. Thank you so much. Our next winner joins us now, Susan from Michigan. Thank you for joining us, Susan. Go right ahead with your question.
Yes. So my question is along the lines of the last question about support, but mine is in a divorce situation. So I'm wondering how to find out what my benefits would be based on 10 years of marriage after divorce. Do I use my former husband's Social Security to find out what the benefits would be, and how do I know what they'll be and what they'll be in the years coming, 62, 65, and 70?
Yes, very good question regarding independently entitled divorced spouses benefits. You have to be at least age 62. Fundamentally, the only difference between you and the previous caller is your ex-spouse doesn't have to file in order for you to be potentially eligible for independently entitled divorced spouses benefits. So you got to be at least age 62. If you're working, you're going to be subjected to the annual earnings test. If you're younger than your full retirement age is based on your year of birth. You can find out what that is by going to ssa.gov. And also, you already touched upon it. You must be married over 10 years. And generally, you must be divorced for at least 2 to be potentially eligible for divorced spouses benefits. And again, it's the same premise mathematically. You're eligible for up to half of your ex-spouse's primary insurance amount or their full retirement age amount, unless your own is more. Now, if you want to find out how much you could get from your spouse, and that's really the kicker, and that's what the question really comes around to, is if you were to produce a marriage certificate and a divorce decree, and you must, Social Security will give you the information, the mathematical and the benefit amount information on your ex-spouse. So good luck, and it's a very good question.
And so, Steve, follow up on that. So in that case, she would need to take both of those documents into an office.
Correct.
And that usually make an appointment. Don't just walk in.
Correct.
Right? Yeah. So
you can still walk in. Busy offices, they're open from 9 to 4. You can contact the office directly, or you can make an appointment. So in general, that's a walk-in function unless you're looking to file.
Just make sure you have those documents.
Make sure you have those documents.
That's the key to that.
That's
okay.
correct.
Thank you so much for that call. We appreciate it. Eleanor from South Carolina joins us now. Thanks for joining us, Eleanor. Go right ahead.
Hi, Happy New Year to everybody.
Happy New Year.
I have a two-part question. My husband is deceased, and when we were having our tax attorney do our trust, he said that my husband would have to have a residuary, I may not be pronouncing that quite right, bank account. At that time when he said that, I never heard of that before, a dead person having a bank account. But anyway, do they take Social Security out or away from that?
You ask a very good question, and I'm going to say it right out, at the outset. You may want to consult with an estate planning expert, an estate planning attorney, to be certain, 100% certain, just what type of bank account this is, what's in there, what can be attached to it in terms of outside sources. As far as the Social Security part and the survivor benefit, if at the time that your spouse passed, if you would do a higher benefit from your spouse's account, Social Security would pay you that amount. If you were drawing your own that was higher at the time of his death, in many cases you have to file an individual survivor claim with Social Security. If you were drawing from his account at the time of his passing, Social Security would automatically convert your payment amount to the survivor benefit. So we wish you the best of luck, and I would strongly recommend you speak with an estate planning attorney, an expert in trusts. They can be very complicated.
Yeah, thank you for that call tonight, Eleanor. We appreciate you. 877-283-7570 is the number to call with your Social Security questions. And the best part is, not only will you get an answer that you can rely on the information, but you're also possibly going to be a winner tonight. So give us a call. We still have about a half hour left to take your call. We're going to go back to the phones where Benny joins us from Texas. Thanks so much for joining us. Go right ahead. 37570 is the number to call with your Social Security. Benny, are you standing next to your television set, sir? Go ahead with your question whenever you hear me ask this question. Might be a delay. Okay, as we're getting Benny on the line,
yes,
you have some resources to share with us.
I do. I mentioned earlier that there's a great website that AARP has put together with all sorts of information about Social Security, and that's our Social Security Resource Center. Not a super creative name, but it's got a lot of great information. And you can find that simply at aarp.org/Social Security, and you can see it up there on the screen. And there's just a lot of information there. There's the calculator I mentioned previously, where you can look into to see how much you're going to get in your Social Security paycheck when you can start claiming. And then there's a lot of good articles, other tools, resources. So I just really encourage folks who are tuned in tonight to take a look at that website, and it might have some of the answers to the questions that you've always been wondering about. Or if you don't get to come on live tonight here, there's also I think there's a place there that you can ask an expert a question, and you know who that expert is? This guy. So if you don't get your question answered, there's a way you can also ask some questions there and try to get it in another way.
From a trusted source.
Yes.
That we know very well.
Yes.
All right, thank you for that. We are going to go back to the phones where Jerry joins us next from Missouri. We're getting a lot of great questions tonight. Jerry, what's yours?
Hello.
Hey, Jerry, go ahead with your question.
I was just wondering if I can increase my Social Security while working again. I started drawing at 66, and I was just wondering if I can increase it by working again.
Yeah, excellent question. It really is. So you got to go back. You really have to go back to what is the formula? How do they go about calculating your Social Security benefits? Social Security looks at your highest 35 years of work. So later in life, even after you begin to draw benefits, because we already talked about once you reach your full retirement age, you can earn whatever you want and collect. But what happens is you could be earning substantial wages. If these years of earnings replace one of your previously posted 35 years of wages that Social Security is using to calculate your current benefit, you may very well see an increase. But that's what essentially, in general terms, that's exactly what needs to happen. If you're earning relatively low amounts of money, unless it replaces one of the 35 years you earned earlier in life to calculate your benefit, you won't see any kind of an increase. But if it does replace one of your high 35, you could very well see an increase in your benefit. That's a very good question.
Yeah, thank you. And these questions are helping all of us. So we would love to hear from you tonight as well. And you may just be a winner. 877-283-7570. We're going to Georgia next.
Excellent.
Nellie joins the conversation now. Thanks for joining us, Nellie. Go right ahead.
Hi. I just was wondering if someone is drawing a disability, Social Security disability, how are they still eligible also to draw SSI?
It's a very good question. So Social Security disability insurance was signed into law in the mid-50s. It was the congressional eyes that were on it basically said, look, people should be able to draw their retirement benefit in the form of a disability insurance benefit in the event they become ill prior to turning 62. So Social Security disability insurance is signed into law, and it's based primarily on how much you make, what your contributions are, how much you were making while you were working. Mathematically, that's what determines what your Social Security disability insurance monthly benefit payment is. In the early 70s, the Social Security Administration took on another program, and it's called Supplemental Security Income, or SSI. And it was around 1972, 1973 when it came into law. And it was for people who had limited incomes, who are over age 65, blind or disabled, with limited income or limited resources. In fact, as an individual, in general terms, you can't have any more than 2,000 in resources and 3,000 as a couple. So when you say income and resources, SSDI benefits are also considered income. For SSI eligibility purposes, Social Security looks at your SSDI payment and says, how much is it per month? And if it's relatively low, yes, you can draw both an SSDI payment and an SSI payment. And as pointed out earlier in the program, it's not just a financial increase that you may see, it's also health insurance, because for Social Security disability insurance, you have to be on SSDI for 2 years in order for Medicare coverage to kick in order to be eligible for Medicare health insurance coverage. With SSI, most states give you Medicaid coverage as soon as you're entitled. So that's a very good question. And again, we would urge you always to have yourself screened for eligibility for SSI with Social Security, always.
All right, thank you so much for that. 877-283-7570 is the number to call. Our next winner is from Texas. Diane joins us now. Thanks for joining us, Diane. Go right ahead with your question.
Yes, my question refers back to the spousal support or spousal Social Security. So I was married 32 years, and I've been divorced over 5. So I don't understand that I could actually claim on his Social Security, or whichever is the higher, half of his versus total of mine.
That's
How does
correct.
that work?
Yeah, you pretty much have it there. You got to be married at least 10 years. It sounds like you fulfilled that requirement. Fair to say? And you've been divorced for at least 2, and you're over age 62. So the next and last and final requirement is that the benefit amount you could draw from your ex-spouse is more than what you would draw from your own account. So yes, you are eligible for up to 50%, depending on your age, up to 50% of your ex-spouse's primary insurance amount, which is essentially their full retirement age amount, unless your own benefit is higher. So how do you screen yourself for eligibility? Again, you'll need your divorce decree, you'll need your marriage certificate. You can contact and go to your local Social Security office, and they will review the claim. They will review your ex-spouse's earnings history, and they will be able to determine if you're eligible for a higher benefit from your ex. Good luck, and that's a very good question.
877-283-7570 is the number to call. Boy, you just answered, I think, 11, 12 questions straight in a row.
I'm so glad he's here.
Me too. I'm sure our audience is as well.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
we still have some time.
Yes,
we still have time to get your question answered tonight. We want to hear from you. Give us a call, 877-283-7570. We're going to pause for a quick break. We'll be screening those calls. In the meantime, stay with us. We still have a cooler to give away as well. You see this QR code. It says scan me right there. You want to do that because it gives you a chance. If you don't win tonight, we are still going to be giving away those totes. You're going to have a chance through the Second Chance sweepstakes. All you have to do is either scan this QR code, or you can also visit the website aarp.org/AARP live and register to win. We still have time for your call, 877-283-7570. We'll be right back with more Rural America Live with AARP. We're talking Social Security. Big topic. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We are talking about Social Security. We still have a tote bag to give away, so we're going to go straight to the phones. Before we do, though, Sarah, tell us how nice these tote bags are.
They are so nice. They're insulated and they're big and they're very sturdy. So you could put if you're into, you could put your pop, you could put your beer, you could put your picnic, and you could go to your music festival, you could go to the state fair, you could go to the beach. They're really nice. So call in or scan that QR code and try to get one because they're really nice.
Yeah, good luck to you on that. Yeah. And remember, they will cover the shipping as well, so it's really worth your while. Plus, you can ask your question about Social Security as well, just like Jill is doing of Texas. Thanks for joining us, Jill. Go right ahead with your question.
Hi, good evening. Love your program. Great information. My comment is I am age 67. I have paid in Social Security all my working years. And now that I'm collecting Social Security benefits, I am taxed. The IRS taxes on those benefits. Is that just a norm? Can you explain that?
Yes. The 1983 Social Security Reform Act, that's the last time we saw any sort of sweeping reform to the Social Security program, increase the retirement age, increase taxes, cut benefits to surviving children of disabled or deceased parents. So there were a lot of provisions written into that law, and another one was taxing your Social Security income. So a lot of people would ask over the years, well, taxing Social Security income, why would that be on a Social Security reform bill? Because the income generated as a result of taxing your Social Security income goes right back into the Social Security trust funds. So that's just a little history about what taxation of Social Security benefits are. So it's real. It's the law. There's no question about it. So essentially what Social Security looks at is your combined income. And your combined income is your adjusted gross income plus your non-taxable interest plus half of your Social Security benefit. And that constitutes what your combined income is. And depending upon what your filing status is as an individual or married, if your combined income is between $25,000 and $34,000 a year, up to 50% of your Social Security benefit is considered taxable income. If it's greater than $34,000 on an individual tax return, up to 85% of your Social Security income is considered taxable income. If you're filing jointly, it's $32,000 and $44,000 respectively. So is taxation of Social Security income real? Yes, it is. It's very real. And I would close with this. The IRS, on irs.gov, the IRS has an excellent tax withholding estimator calculator on their website just for you. Just for this purpose, when you're trying to zero in on what a good tax contribution amount that you should try to land on regarding your Social Security, of your taxable, the taxing of your Social Security income. So that's a very good question.
Well, and Stephen, I'm right that some states also tax Social Security income as well. And I wanted to let everybody watching or listening know that that is something AARP is working on because we don't think that's right. So And that's not every state, but some states still do tax your Social Security, so it's a little bit of a double whammy there.
It's really nice to know that AARP, though, is looking out for us in
absolutely.
that respect. And you know what else I love about you, Stephen? You're interesting. You're not just telling us the facts in a boring way. I mean, let's face it, talking about Social Security could be pretty tough. But yeah, you're really interesting. We really appreciate you. Roy joins us now from Indiana. Thanks for joining us, Roy. Go right ahead.
Yes, I was wanting to ask you, I'm on Social Security disability, and I know times are changing, and can you be, with the new laws and everything with 2024, can things change to where I'll be taxed for my Social Security disability that I receive every month?
Yeah, and I just went over taxation of Social Security income, and it also applies to Social Security disability insurance benefits as well. You can speak with a tax expert. They're usually pretty good if you have somebody preparing your taxes. They can kind of help you through this and walk you through this. But the same parameters we just described regarding what your combined income is, you may very well see your Social Security disability insurance benefits being taxed, depending upon what your combined income is. Remember the refresher, what is combined income? It's your adjusted gross income plus non-taxable interest plus half of your Social Security benefit. So depending upon where you land and what your filing status is with the IRS, individual or as a couple, you may very well see your Social Security disability insurance benefits constituting taxable income.
Okay, thank you for that call. We still have time for yours. We'd love to hear from you tonight, 877-283-7570. We're going to Louisiana, where Woodruff joins us now. Thanks for joining us, Woodruff. What's on your mind? What question do you have for our expert tonight?
IRS individual or as a couple, you may very well see
I think Woodruff might be next to his television set. There's a bit of a delay, but we're going to get John from Missouri on the phone now for you. Thanks for joining us, John. Go right ahead. John, can you hear me? All right. Well, let me ask John, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Go ahead with your question, sir.
Yes, I was just curious. I'm going to be 68 my next birthday, and so far I'm on Medicare. My wife's on Medicare as well. I'll be 68 in March. She'll be her full 66 in 6 months. And I was thinking it's probably a good time for me to go ahead to take my Social Security. I understand I have to have the Social Security or applied for it before she can get half of mine. So I was just curious. I didn't follow the whole show, but I just thought maybe I would ask if that was your opinion as well.
Yeah, it's an excellent question, often asked question, right, regarding spousal benefits. And you are absolutely correct. I mean, the number one entitlement factor, as long as you're both over 62, the number one entitlement factor to your spouse drawing under your account is that you must file. You must file for your own. Now, it sounds like your spouse has reached their full retirement age. And if this is true, at the time that you file and then your spouse then becomes eligible for the spousal benefit, your spouse is entitled to up to 50% of your primary insurance amount, not your age 68 amount. It's going to be what your full retirement age amount was. If you don't know what that is, you can contact Social Security. They will tell you what it is. So you make a couple of really good points here, and it leads to another observation, and is that a lot of people think that if you waited to 68 or 69 to draw your benefit, that it would also increase the spousal yield. It does not. The spousal benefit is locked into up to 50% of your primary insurance amount, your full retirement age amount. In your case, that was in the past. So you bring some really good points up. You can contact Social Security. They'll tell you exactly what the benefits are. You can file online. You can contact their 800 number and make an appointment to file either in person or by telephone with your local Social Security office. So you have a lot of options. Do your homework. Tuning into the show is the best thing you could have done, just to get your ducks in line and understand what you need to do going forward. It's a very good question. Good luck.
877-283-7570. We're getting down to the final minutes, but we still have time for your call tonight. We'd love to hear from you. Dave joins us now from Michigan. Thanks for joining us. Go right ahead, Dave. Oh, okay. Bill from Wisconsin. We're going to go to Bill from Wisconsin. Thanks for joining us, Bill. Go right ahead.
I gave my wife the advice to wait until full age retirement because the benefit would be greater, and I happen to be 13 years older than my spouse. So if something did happen to me, she could collect then, as I understand, up to half of what my Social Security benefit would be if I filed at 62, and I did that because my public employee pension and Social Security are linked together, and because of some health issues, I took early retirement with accelerated payments, and then when I reached
62, you filed. You ask a really good question. Yeah. Now remember, let's go back to the basics, right? The basics say that Social Security will only pay your spouse spousal Social Security benefits if your spouse can get more money from your account than their own. So your spouse, if she waits till her full retirement age, or if they wait till their full retirement age to draw their full retirement benefit and the spousal benefit at the same time, they could still potentially be eligible for up to 50% of your primary insurance amount, even if you drew at 62. So at the time that your spouse files, what happens when you file for a retirement benefit or a spousal benefit with the Social Security Administration? They ask you a lot of questions, a lot of very personal questions. People would sometimes be taken aback by it, but we would say, look, legally, what they are doing there is they're screening you out for potential eligibility to any and all other benefits. And in that case, when your spouse files for their retirement benefit, Social Security will also screen your spouse for spousal benefit eligibility. In other words, your spouse will have to produce your Social Security number at the time that they file for their own. And Social Security will look into and determine if your spouse is actually due a higher benefit under your account number or their own. So I hope that's helpful.
All right. What a great show. What a wealth of information, literally. You have been able to help so many people tonight. Thank you for everything both of you do. So appreciative. I want to make sure I give you both an opportunity to share your final thoughts with us tonight. Go ahead first, Stephen.
Yeah, I think, and we talked about it earlier. Social Security represents about 41% of your pre-retirement income. To the average wage earner, 41% of your pre-retirement income is Social Security. Do your homework. Put the same energy into researching the rules and regulations regarding drawing benefits and spousal benefits and Medicare entitlement. The same effort you put into, if you're looking at your 401k and you speak to an accountant or an estate planning attorney, all those questions you ask about what are the tax ramifications of drawing, and you're stressing and you're doing all your research. Well, I'm sorry, you're going to have to do and put the same effort into deciding when to file for your Social Security benefits. So do that and get on socialsecurity.gov.
What are your final thoughts for us?
Yeah, my final thoughts are Social Security is something that you've paid into, you've earned this benefit, and AARP is here to protect and save it for you. So pay attention, get information, aarp.org/AARP Live for all the information we've talked about tonight, and I hope you'll tune in again next month. But again, Social Security is what you've paid into and you've earned it.
And I love the taxation part because no taxation without representation. AARP is in Washington, D.C., fighting for all of us on a daily basis. So thank you for what you do. Looking forward to next month's show as well. We've run out of time, though, for tonight. Join us on February 15th, day after Valentine's Day. We're going to answer all of your estate planning questions. It's a really important conversation. I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight on Rural America Live with AARP. Remember, you can go to aarp.org/AARP Live for more information. Thanks for joining us.